Good afternoon from Alaska. So I was trying to do my live earlier and it did not work because my cellular data was low. It's on the slow speed right now. So what I had to figure out was that when I'm on slow data, I can do Instagram lives and I can do Facebook lives perfectly fine. But if I am going to choose to do a YouTube live, I have to be somewhere where there is Wi-Fi when I'm at low speed. So what that has done is that I now have to be more strategic and more planned on when and where I'm going to do my lives. The sad part is I did a lot of other lives and other things this morning that were on Instagram and on my Snapchat, and that was great. Because I was able to show what I wanted to show, which was the top of the property and the sunrise that occurred, as it always does. No, hopefully the sun always rises. But I was not able to show a live stream of it on YouTube, which is sad to me because it was a beautiful, beautiful sunrise. It was only 0 degrees out, freaking cold, burn your face cold, and see, it's still saying very bad connection. I'm hoping that it's still going. So what I've had to decide is that I need to be strategic in where I live and when I live. I am still growing and learning about the different platforms. Hey! It is real! I started... What? I don't know how to do the warning yet. And I don't do the schedules because I never know when I can get a chance, and I'm still really new. Like, Lionel's been doing it for a long time now. Man, he's got so many videos, it's crazy. My hat's falling down on me. But I will try to, when you say, like, give you a little warning, or you say, like, you know, I noticed that he'll say his greetings for, like, a minute when he gets started, so that, I guess, people get a little time to get going on it. But I also haven't had a lot of people. Actually, you're really the first person to watch me live. So, yay! You get the first live viewer award. And if I'm wrong, somebody else gets it. But I'm pretty sure you get it, because I've had people comment on my replays, but I haven't had anybody join me live on here. I started getting used to doing lives with Instagram, and that's how I got started. I just said that. I enjoy the lives on Instagram more at the time, because if you do live on Facebook and there is yeah, see, yeah, there's definitely like a lag time between when people show up and when people don't, and I just haven't had anybody so far joining me, so I've had to pretty much do it like I'm just recording a video that's going to be for the replay, because that's kind of where my subscription level is at right now. People are just catching me at the replay. But the reason I don't do Facebook Live so much is if I'm out at an event, like a bazaar or something, if there is music playing in the background at all, even if it's some other person at a different table, Facebook won't let you post it because of copyrights. Well, I'm not copywriting anything, and I'm not taking anybody else's stuff, so it makes it difficult to be able to do Facebook Lives to me, especially because you can't save it to your camera roll. The Instagrams, at least you could save it to your camera roll, and you don't get in the same kind of situation. And then YouTube finally has allowed us to do live on mobile devices. That's why I hadn't started doing that yet, because you literally couldn't. And I do not have the ability to set up a laptop and a webcam and all that kind of stuff when I'm mobile and out and about, and that's usually where I am Most days that I'm doing anything, I'm out in the public doing stuff. That's why you'll also see, maybe in the future, you'll see me doing lives in the van. I talk about the van a lot. It's like my ship's counselor's little... I have a joke about ship's counselor's log. I'm actually a human services major, so I'm actually in a counseling kind of degree. So I joke about the ship's counselor's log, and being in the van makes me feel like I'm in the, the counselor chair, the captain chair. And I'm definitely quirky. I've been doing Snapchat for about 1.5 years. Born and raised in Alaska. I started following Lionel getting close to 1 year ago. My mom actually got me started on him, and he's very interesting. And I always hated it. I can't do super chat on mobile either. You can't do that. So you can't even like get your comment going if you're on mobile, which I wonder if there's a lot of people. I mean, you can get your comment out, you can comment, but you can't do the super chat that'll actually make it very visible to him. I wonder if that's why Cynthia Torres does so many emojis, because it actually gets her highlighted. It's really hard to stand out in a chat crowd of 1,000 people. And it's actually funny, like today he was talking about Sarah Palin, and I'm just like, that's the one thing I hate. Not so much that I hate her per se, but I hate that the number one thing that I get asked when I am up here. Like, to see my view? Like, what do you mean? Wait. Oh, the van is out there. I'm actually inside of Target, and they had created a really, really nice cafe area for the people here, except for the weird thing is for their design, they didn't put any plugins anywhere. So if you are needing battery power, you're kind of SOL. But yeah, I used to work at a hotel up here that was on the same lake that she lived on. And all I ever had to hear about was, is this the lake that Sarah Palin lives on? And I'm like, couldn't you ask me about a moose or a bear? Or I don't know, something interesting. She literally one time on a broadcast said, I'm quitting being the governor because I cannot handle it. I'm like, we're only a state of 300,000 people. And you want to be president? That's crazy. I don't know. And like, they're always involved in drama and all sorts of stuff. Like, they've become basically reality TV people, which is sad, I guess. I don't know. What are we doing? But anyway, I'm lived here my whole life. My mom and dad came up in '73, and my mom is you know what? I just might. It would be from the top of that property that I couldn't show earlier. It's on my Instagram with the sunrise. So if you go check out that, you can see my live that I did on there. Russia's actually kind of close. It's kind of interesting. I was watching a documentary the other day, and they were talking about salmon and how they were filming in a spot that nobody had ever really been to because it's like a wildlife reserve there in Russia. And then where they were pointing out of where it was actually like very close to the border area where we'd be closest to Alaska. So it was kind of cool. It was interesting to see, because the salmon run is a big thing up here, like salmon fishing, salmon going dip netting, which is where you get the gigantic nets, and you literally just stand in the river in the muck and let all that fish just pile up in your net. Easy, 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 easy. I say easy, still takes a lot of hard work, and you're standing out in freezing cold water for a good amount of time in hip waders. So that's kind of interesting. But it's interesting seeing how they start from the ocean, and they come in land, and all these different things. Let's see, so I live about 50 miles from the main city in Alaska, Anchorage. It's not the capital, which is stupid. Our capital is Juneau, which you can only get to by boat or plane. And that's where they keep the capital. And it's like a one-street place. I don't know. It's not big. It's not very big at all. And I live about 50 miles, like I said, from the Anchorage Bowl, is what they call it. And it's right there on the ocean. Funny story about bears is I was driving along 4th Avenue. So when you go into Anchorage from the valley, you come along the main strip, which is downtown, which is 5th Avenue. And then one road lower is 4th Avenue, and you're coming back the other direction. And I was coming back one day, and suddenly this bear is walking across the road. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm stopped at a stoplight. So I call 911, and I literally said to them, are you missing something? And the lady on the phone was like, yes, where is it? They were looking for the bear that was walking across the town at that point. And it was just a little black bear, so it wasn't anything like huge or... I don't know what ended up happening to it, but I'm sure they just shooed it away. We have a lot of issues with moose. We have the biggest moose in North America. They rank up into the 1,500 pounds range to 2,000. They're big, and we hit them with our cars on accident. Every year there's like an average of like 300 moose hit by cars. So it's pretty crazy. And yet when people want to see them, they can't find them. So people are always coming up to Alaska and like, I want to see a moose, I want to see a bear. And we're like, okay, well, we could drive along the area that maybe will have it, but don't get your hopes up, because chances are probably won't actually see one. But then there's lots of people who do. And then we have like a moose hunting season and all that kind of stuff. And you know, and one of the reasons that I am enjoying connecting with people online and doing all this is because there's so much about Alaska out there right now, but it's all, I don't want to say Hollywood, but it's big budget production, because I don't know that it's actually Hollywood. It's documentaries and things like the Alaska State Troopers and, you know, Wild Alaska and Wild Alaska Bushmen, and, you know, there's just so much that it's like, I watch some of it and I'm just like, really? Because a lot of these places that they're like, oh yeah, we've been out in the woods for like so and so long, you know, and I'm going, yeah, that's 20 minutes away from town. I mean, and I'm not saying it's fake. I'm just saying that, you know, it's all super broadcast, you know, super big budget filming. And I like sharing Alaska stories. I like sharing, you know, the places that I go, the beauty, the sunrises, the sunsets, the snaps that I can get for my Snapchat are usually based on something that's going on in the town. So oh my goodness, I wish we were all millionaires up here. I wouldn't have to do this. No. Just kidding. I would do this anyway. We do get that $1,000 a year, but that's it. We're not millionaires. In fact, a lot of us are struggling because, you know, finding good jobs is hard up here if you're unskilled. Like, I'm finally going to be graduating, hopefully in the spring, with my associates, and that's going to bring my ability to do more things and be hired at different jobs. It's going to raise that ability. But there's a lot of people here that are low income and struggling. And so some of these things, like they talk about, you know, creating the oil refinery and stuff up here. Now, I don't know a lot of details on it. I watch Lionel because I like to learn from him, and I like to be informed about things if I'm going to talk about them. But I have to say that, like, the oil refinery thing being opened, that could be potentially really good for us, because there's so many people who need the jobs up here, and it's just crazy. Someone no, it's just people in the cafe. kids being around. And see, I don't do any of my stuff at home just because I have the spare time to be able to do it while I'm at work. So I just deal with the fact that there's sound everywhere, But that's funny, sacrificing a bear. No. Yeah. Well, I do have to go. My time limit is kind of up. Nick, I'm so glad that you came and joined in on my live. I hope that you'll, as Lionel always says, like the video, share, and let other people know if you enjoyed it. I really enjoy doing this. That's my thing. I want to do employment. I want to help people get jobs. Whether that's, teaching people how to succeed online, like doing these YouTubes and other platforms, or physically getting, not to say, quote, real jobs, but jobs in the community, or finding the right job or career for you. It fills me with joy to be able to help somebody be able to stabilize their life, because the one thing that we will never ever get away from is the fact that we need a job to survive. And I think that a lot of people are not guided. They're not asked what they would like to do. We are kind of stuck in this situation where if you don't get that piece of paper from the college, they consider you uneducated. Now, I'm sorry. I've been very educated for a very long time, and I'm pretty darn smart, and I like to learn and research things, but because I don't have a piece of paper, I can't get a good job. I think that's terrible. I think that's sad. There's so much knowledge. Lionel talks about how this right here is the #1 platform out there. I've always said, if you want to learn something, Google it. If you want to see how to do it, YouTube it. Watch a video, learn something new. And it's so funny because now I do online classes for school, and half the time they're sending me to TED Talks and then having us do a discussion about the TED Talk, which is on YouTube. So I could have just watched YouTube and not paid $600 for the class. But anyway, there's many things that I want to be able to talk about in the long run, and I do have to get going. We have very interesting economy up here, and you're either surviving or you're not. So that's why I want to be able to encourage people to get jobs, and some people don't fit jobs, okay, we got lots of jobs up here, but they're all like Target, Walmart, Sportsman's Warehouse. Now, legitimately, these are good jobs. I'm not saying that they're not good jobs, but not everybody is fit for a job like that. Not everybody is going to be fit for a skilled job. And I think that teaching people and guiding people and giving what advice I can to be able to help them find what they really want to do. If you want to be an artist, start now. Start right now, and you have to go out and you have to put yourself out there. And I grew up with artists, and this is how we get our names out there. This is how we do good, and we get our artwork out, and we make sales, and we do all these things. And some people will never be set up for working at a bank or working, at one of the oil refineries. So finding other avenues of income is highly important. Well, like I said, I got to get going. Again, I'm so glad that you joined me. I hope that everybody enjoys this. I hope that it brought a little bit of a window into my world, and I hope that it gets cloudy so that it actually gets warm. Bye, Nick. Have a great day. And ending in 3, 2, where's the button? No.